They are fueled by a ring rivalry that began generations ago.
Mexico, Puerto Rico.
A passion that pumps through their hearts.
Once again for a world title.
And July 26th, their blood will be added to the pantheon of their country's boxing greats. In the middle of the Caribbean Sea, Puerto Rico's newest boxing icon, Miguel Cotto, prepares for his latest challenge.
In Cotto, it feels like you're watching a dispassionate boxing machine. It's like a Terminator.
Cotto looking for the kill. Knockout!
26 knockouts in his 32 wins. The undefeated Cotto has taken on all comers on his way to the welterweight crown. But now, a new nemesis has arisen from another historic boxing hotbed. A relentless brawler from Mexico, Antonio Margarito.
There's not a whole lot of polish with Margarito. His nickname is the Tijuana Tornado, and that's how he fights. He's a whirlwind.
Once a 15-year-old who bravely fought men twice his age, now this Mexican warrior has grown into a major force in the welterweight division.
What we say is, Floyd Mayweather Jr. turned down $8 million to fight this guy, and that piques people's interest.
This is the story of one of 2008's most anticipated fights. The story of one of the sport's best, looking to stake his claim as the premier boxer on the planet.
Cotto is on the verge of becoming the kind of superstar that the general public recognizes.
But it's also the tale of a fighter who's worked long and hard for a chance to shine in the brightest of spotlights.
This is the opportunity that he's wanted. A big-time fight with a big-time champion in a big-time arena. Well, guess what? He's got it.
This is the countdown to Cotto Margarito. In boxing, April 12, 2008 was a night that pointed towards the future.
Defend yourselves at all times.
Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito fighting separate opponents back-to-back in Atlantic City.
Well, it's the old kind of theory in boxing. If you want to make a fight bigger, you put the two potential combatants in on the same card against opponents who are there to make them look good.
In a rematch of a 2005 bout, Margarito knocked out Kermit Cintron in 6 rounds.
Tremendous left-hand shot to the body.
Both guys delivered, man, and they delivered big time.
Miguel Cotto doesn't just beat you, he beats you up.
Next up was Cotto, who stopped Alfonso Gomez in 5 lopsided rounds.
And they looked absolutely sensational, and it just set the stage for their matchup in July.
It's a matchup that's about far more than welterweight supremacy. Cotto Margarito also represents another chapter in the saga of 2 passionate boxing hotbeds with a shared and storied past.
Puerto Rican fight fans are very proud because from this tiny little island, you have some fantastic fighters throughout history.
Carlos Ortiz, Wilfredo Gomez, Wilfred Benitez, Felix Trinidad. You look at Mexico's history, you have Salvador Sanchez, Julio Cesar Chavez, Marco Antonio Barrera, and Eric Morales. They have a lot of Hall of Famers between them. The Mexico-Puerto Rico rivalry is the most intense boxing rivalry between any 2 nations.
The rivalry has produced many classic ring battles over the years. Wilfredo Gomez versus Carlos Zarate in 1978. Gomez versus Salvador Sanchez in 1981. The list of unforgettable matchups goes on.
It's a long tradition that Mexicans and Puerto Ricans fight some of the greatest fights because of the mentality and the warrior concept of those 2 countries.
They not only represent themselves as athletes, they also carry a whole country behind them.
The difference in terms of what Mexico and Puerto Rico demand of their fighters is, in Puerto Rico, you're allowed to box a little bit more. Cotto showed against Mosley that he can box, and that does not alienate Puerto Rican fight fans.
Generally speaking, you see a Mexican in the ring, he's going to be coming straight ahead. He wants to throw a lot of punches, mix it up. If you were going to put a photograph of the prototypical Mexican fighter in a magazine, there might very well be a photograph of Antonio Margarito. Cotto Margarito has got all the ingredients to make a classic Mexico versus Puerto Rican rival fight.
every Mexican fighter knows that he's following in the footsteps of so many others who preceded him. Every great Puerto Rican fighter knows that he's competing now against the legacy of all the great Puerto Rican fighters who have preceded him. And now, Cotto has a chance to become the greatest Puerto Rican fighter of them all.
20 miles south of the picturesque coastline of San Juan, Puerto Rico, lies the small town of Caguas. As the sun rises to begin the Caribbean morning, one of boxing's best fighters is already on a local road. Miguel Cotto's plan as he prepares for this fight is simple: train hard, fight hard. Cotto is undefeated and a two-time world champion. His dedication to the craft, though, began long before he turned professional in 2001.
Cotto was a great amateur. He was a 2000 Olympian. He has been brought up expertly.
He has progressed incredibly fast from the time he turned professional to the time he was fighting serious fighters.
He has a visible determination and a compelling style of fighting that dyed-in-the-wool boxing fans deeply appreciate.
Nowhere is he more appreciated than at home. Following victories in 2007 over Zab Judah and Shane Mosley, his hero status has grown tremendously over the past year. But for all his own success in the ring, Cotto has still found it difficult to escape the shadow of the beloved legend who preceded him.
Trinidad is a tough act to follow in terms of generating the kind of love among the boxing public.
I can see why people want to love Trinidad more. He has a natural warmth that communicates to all Puerto Ricans all at once. And Miguel, by contrast, seems on the surface almost taciturn and remote.
Cotto's personality is extremely straightforward and serious.
And that's the perception everyone has of him, a very serious guy. Doesn't smile much, but he's completely the opposite when he's away from the boxing.
Miguel's a shy person, you know. He's a very shy person.
He smiles, but you have to know him.
He always making jokes, making some weird things, planning some things to do to you.
Given his public image, it would certainly surprise those who think they know Cotto that life within his inner circle is anything but reserved.
En verdad, la broma de nosotros es al extremo. No todo el mundo puede soportar eso. Solamente nosotros que nos conocemos, pues bromeamos así. No, créeme que la pasamos súper bien.
It's an adventure every day here.
Tú no sabes quién te va a hacer algo. Tú tienes que estar a la atención de que quién va a venir.
It's always an adventure in that house with those guys there. You never know what's going to go on. Each day. Okay, right?
You have to be ready. You have to have two eyes on your back because they're going to do something to you.
The environment his friends provide for him is an important part of his success in the ring.
I didn't try to talk about boxing, you know, because it's my job. They keep my mind out of the boxing the whole day, you know?
Yeah, we know that we keep him, you know, relaxed. We keep him chill. And, you know, the good thing that he can trust us.